So, you've been told you have fatty liver disease. I know, that can feel pretty overwhelming. But what if I told you there's a fast, totally natural way to reverse it? And I mean, see real changes in just a matter of weeks. Okay, let's get right into it. And that right there, that's not just some wishful thinking. The source material for this is incredibly clear on this point. This is a condition you can actually take control of. The whole key is just understanding how it works and what you need to do about it. That is the million-dollar question, right? And that's exactly what we're here to lay out. In this breakdown, we're going to get into the exact evidence-based steps to get your liver healthy again. But first, we got to understand the enemy. To fix a problem, you have to know what's causing it. And it turns out, the cause of fatty liver is a lot simpler than you might think. The science points overwhelmingly to this one thing: eating too much sugar. And the number one offender is fructose. Now, this isn't the fructose you get from eating a whole apple. No, we're talking about the massive quantities you find in processed foods and sugary drinks. It kicks off a whole cascade of problems because it messes with your body's ability to know when it's full. To really get this, we need to talk about a hormone called leptin. Think of it like this. When you eat, leptin is released and it tells your brain, hey, we're good, you can stop eating now. It's your body's natural off switch for hunger. But here's where fructose is so sneaky. It doesn't trigger leptin, so your brain never gets the message that you're full. This makes it incredibly easy to just keep eating. And over time, this can even lead to something called leptin resistance, which means you pretty much feel hungry all the time. It's a vicious cycle. And, this isn't a slow motion problem either. One study found that a high fructose diet started piling up fat in the liver in just 7 days, 1 week. That's how quickly this can take hold. So now that we know the cause, let's build our game plan, starting with what we need to get rid of. All right, now for the really actionable part. Since we know the main cause is fructose, the very first step is to get its biggest sources out of your diet. This right here, this is your hit list. Sugary drinks are public enemy number one. And yeah, that includes sports drinks and even those so-called healthy fruit juices. Dried fruits are also a problem because the sugar is so concentrated. And as we're gonna see, we also need to be careful with certain types of carbs and fats. This comparison is just perfect for showing the problem with juice. When you eat a whole orange, all that fiber slows down how your body absorbs the sugar. But with juice, all that helpful fiber is gone. You're basically just mainlining a huge dose of sugar straight to your liver, which then has to work overtime to deal with it all. And the results of cutting sugar are just powerful. A study on teenage boys showed that when they cut their sugar intake way down, they saw big improvements in their fatty liver in just 2 months. So yeah, this works, and it works fast. Okay. Enough about what you can't have. Let's pivot and talk about all the great stuff you should be eating to actively heal your liver. This is your magic number. This is your target for protein at every single meal. A study found that getting enough protein, especially with your first meal of the day, has this profound effect on what you eat later. It keeps you feeling full, and it crushes those cravings for the exact sugary foods that got us into trouble in the first place. Now, this is absolutely fascinating. In one study, researchers had people overeat muffins that were high in one of 2 types of fat. The group eating the muffins with saturated fats, their liver fat shot way up. But the group eating unsaturated fats, they actually built more lean muscle with no negative effect on their liver. It's proof that the type of fat you eat matters immensely. So here's your shopping list for success. You want to focus on lean protein, those good unsaturated fats you find in things like fish and avocados, and smart, low glycemic carbs, vegetables and legumes that don't spike your blood sugar. It's so clear that simple, whole foods are the foundation for getting better. All right, let's pull all of this together into a simple, comprehensive action plan that you can literally start today. And here's the really great news. You do not need to make some dramatic, unsustainable changes. Research shows that losing just 5%, only 5%, of your total body weight can significantly decrease the amount of fat in your liver. That is such an achievable goal. And if you can push that a little further to 7%, well, that can lead to the complete resolution of even more severe forms of fatty liver. The power to heal is directly tied to these small, consistent steps toward a healthier weight. Now, beyond what you eat, these are your accelerators. Alcohol is a straight-up toxin to the liver, so cutting it out completely is non-negotiable. Combine that with at least 150 minutes of activity a week, plus some muscle-building resistance training, and you are giving your liver absolutely everything it needs to heal. Okay, so what about supplements? It's a common question, and yeah, some things like vitamin E, omega-3s, and choline, they do show some promise, but, and this is a big but, it's the warnings here that are the most important part. These are not magic pills. For something like vitamin E, you must talk to your doctor first. And for others, like choline, the best source is always real food. We're talking eggs, fish, and broccoli. So, after all that information, what's the single most important thing to remember? It's this. You are in the driver's seat. You have the control here. You do not need expensive supplements or complicated programs to fix your fatty liver. The real power is in the food you eat. By cutting out those harmful sugars and adding in nutrient-packed whole foods, you're literally giving your body the tools to heal itself. This is about using real food as your medicine. Your liver has this amazing ability to regenerate. It actually wants to heal. The science is clear, the plan is simple, and the results can come surprisingly fast. So the only question left is, are you ready to give your body that chance?